Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.
Hello. It's Not the Weekend podcast with Frank Skinner, Gareth Richards, Emily Dean.
Why do you sound so surprised?
Well, I don't know. I just didn't think it was going to happen this week. But here we are again, and how lovely.
I thought Gareth wouldn't want to do it anymore.
What do you mean?
He's got very arrogant after that appearance. You know, he was on telly.
He was on Russell Howard, wasn't
Yeah.
he?
Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I think we know.
Yeah, and there's been lots of... I fully expected a resignation this week. Quick while you're ahead. I thought, radio. Sorry, I've moved on.
He actually said to me, Frank, I'm starting to enjoy the cloak of celebrity. It's kicking in.
That was because we had... Sorry, I just need to defend myself. That was because we had a very gushy email about some woman saying my smile made her knees go wobbly.
She said he was hunky.
Which has never happened before.
Maybe
Bless that old
maybe it
lady
was
falling
you.
over in the street was to do with that.
I'm thinking maybe it was your smile that tore my cartilage.
That could have been it.
I felt
Sorry.
something go. Well, I've had what I can only describe as a comedy workshop
Oh.
this week.
Someone giving you a comedy workshop?
Yeah.
Who could it have been?
Well,
It must have been... I can't think of anyone.
No, I'm sorry, you're going to
Charlie
have to.
Chaplin from Beyond the Grave?
Charlie Chaplin from... Yeah, me and Derek Acora met in a bar. Unfortunately, Charlie Chaplin, of course, was silent.
Me and Charlie get on very well. We both smoke silk.
Charlie's saying, he really likes that stuff you do about A. Houseman. And, hey, no alarm.
No.
We'll have to check that with the technician. So,
Things working.
I found our Keith.
I love an R. Keith story.
See, our Keith, it was his birthday last week, May the 8th, and I found him up. It began with about a 5-minute harangue about the fact that I never call him. And I said, the thing is, Keith, I call you on your birthday. It's annual. There's a limit to how often I can call with a birthday context. And he said, why don't you just call me? He said, my mates are always saying, does your brother ever call you? So
My brothers are a bit like this. Are you
what,
older
since
than
you've been
Keith?
on Russell Howard, you mean?
No, just like they expect me to get in touch with them.
Yeah, but to be fair,
Why
your
not the other
brother's
way
so
round?
good looking. No disrespect to our Keith.
No.
But he's not as good looking as Garrett's brother, let's put it
No.
that way. And
No one is.
he doesn't have to call anyone. your
I
brother.
don't know. I've never seen Gareth's brother, but I'm pretty confident our Keith won't be as good looking as him. Yeah. Well, anyway, so we got chatting, and he said to me, I've been watching you on the telly quite a bit. I said, oh, that's nice. He said, I've noticed you've missed one or two gags.
Did he?
I said, how do you mean? He said, just a couple. I thought, oh, no, he should have said... I said, oh, well, thanks for that. He said, no, I'll give you some examples, and off he
Well,
went.
there was no stopping him.
Now, the first one was, it was a joke about a woman called Cherry on when I hosted Nevermind the Buzzcocks, but we'll let that one pass. I wasn't happy with it. But he did come up, to my chagrin, he came up with a couple of crackers.
Did he?
Yeah, well, they were good, He was on about the fact that I was on the one show, I'd forgotten about this, and there was a fish called Benson, this sort of famous fish that lived in this pond, and someone fed it nuts and it died.
Oh.
And I said on the show, well, we could always eat it, you could have it, a sort of fish and chips thing, you could call it Benson and Wedges. That was the joke.
That's good.
And he said to me, you should have said, oh, Benson and Wedges, and then in brackets, contains nuts.
Oh.
Which it had that was good.
Yes.
And then on
He's done a lot of work on that one.
Yeah, and he remembered them all. He rattled off a few. The other one that sticks in my mind, Sarah Millican on Frank Skinner's Opinionated, and she said she was on about she saw a woman being dumped on an escalator. A boyfriend disappeared off, which isn't easy on an escalator. You just go up 2 steps, and she said, "Oh, the poor, I had to give her a big hug, and she's probably crying into her trifle now." And I said, that's it with you, Sarah. You also have to bring everything back to pudding. Not a joke, because it's an amusing remark.
An observation.
And my brother said, well, it would have been apt if she was crying into a trifle, because she had been deserted.
That is very good.
There's no
Hey?
stopping him. There's no stopping
I'm
our
thinking
Keith.
I might start doing a bit of sheet metal work, get my own back. So what about that? I really did feel like I'd sat at the master's feet.
But this is what happens in hindsight, isn't it? Like,
I've never been there.
really? No, in hindsight, it's always brothers telling you how you could do things better.
Right. Yeah. Surely your brothers didn't phone up after your Russell Howard appearance and say, if I was you, I would have...
Well, my dad's big comedy advice was that I should. He thought I'd be good at writing for other people, which is a really backhanded compliment.
Yes.
But
Well, even is it that even? I think it's an insult,
Yeah.
pure and simple.
it's a slap in the face.
He's saying he likes your material. He doesn't like you,
Yeah.
which from your own father, he's tough.
Just doesn't find me.
Did you ask him to elaborate?
No, that was just.
Had you mentioned Disneyland?
Yeah, don't bring that up.
No.
And but what being on I was on Russell Howard's Good News, and
Oh, yeah.
being
Oh, God. It's becoming like me with Dare the Triffids.
I know.
At least I've moved on to SOS Titanic now.
you know my song Dave the Fridge.
Who doesn't?
Often I know. Often people.
That's this week's texting. Who doesn't know Gareth's song Dave the Fridge? I'm expecting quite a big response.
Because it's all drawn out, kind of slightly tortured jokes about someone being like a fridge, and people suggest all sorts of ones for them. I've had quite a lot of people commenting on YouTube saying, surely what you should have done at the end, rather than the fat joke, you should have made some sort of joke about her being cold like a fridge.
Well, I think our kid's probably preparing a white paper on that song as we speak.
Do you think
The
our
O'Keefe
Keith,
report.
do you think our Keith sits at home? I see him poised with a little sharpened pencil and a pad, making notes every time you pop up. That's what he does, Frank.
Yeah, I think he probably watches it in the pub. And I think it's probably a biro on that. You know, if you tear the outer surface of a beer mat, you can write on the underneath. That's what I'm guessing it's like. But there were good jokes. I did think maybe, in different circumstances, he could have been the comic, and I could have been the angler. It's a very fine line, isn't it?
It's angling for
It is
a
when
job.
you're angling, anyway. Otherwise, they'll see it in the water. Yeah, there was that. And
Oh, Frank, we had an email as well this week.
we had an email.
We
God,
did.
that award sent a bit of a ripple off, hasn't it?
For emailing and everything. This is from Richard Tyra. Subject, it's one that's close to your heart, Frank. It's eggheads.
Ah.
Frank, Emily and Gareth.
In case you don't know, new listeners, I am a big fan of Eggheads, the quiz show. The best quiz show on television. Arguably the best programme on television.
Wow.
Well, yeah, I'm not sure.
You could argue that. You can, it's arguably.
Very strange
you can argue.
argument. Then he'll close our email account down if we disagree with him. Hi, Frank, Emily and Gareth. Firstly, congrats on the Sony. Totally deserved. Do you know, I'm so relieved he's mentioned it. Because I feel we can't anymore.
No, well, we had a podcast when we talked about it, and I said to you, let's not go on and
No,
on
but
about
on the
fact-
show last week, we hardly talk about it at all.
Yeah.
I know.
You're experiencing the come down, Em. When you do something like that.
Don't
and then you get a
patronise
lot
me.
of-
I was acting in BBC plays when I was 7 years old.
Oh, steady.
And you weren't even allowed to go to Disneyland. How
I mean,
dare you?
imagine how Gareth felt after Russell Howard's good news.
He's been on telly once. He's telling me how
I think it's repeated, isn't it?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh,
Don't
yeah,
know.
like
I
you
don't
think
know.
so. Like you don't know when and the ratings. Ah.
Anyway, back to Richard Tyra and Eggheads. I love saying that.
Should it be Richard Tyler?
No, it's Tyra.
Okay.
Why would it
I
be
don't know.
Tyler?
I don't know. It sounds wrong.
Let's not guess other people's names. Let's take their word
See
for
what
it,
I
shall
mean?
we?
You'd never have said that the week before last.
Yeah. So, Richard, have you got that right? Tyra. I think you'll find it's Tyler. Oh, sorry, yeah, it is Tyler. Sorry, everyone. Yeah.
You're going to get a note from Keith about it, I'm sure.
Yeah. Steve, as you call him.
Did I?
No, but it's like correcting people's names.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Yes.
Come with me.
I'm there.
Okay, back to Richard Tyra. Having listened to Not the Weekend podcast, that's last week's, obviously, I was over the moon to hear of Frank's love for Eggheads. I'm also a massive fan of the show and would like to put forward the idea of us applying to take on the Eggheads. Emily's got fashion, showbiz, and early 80s child TV
I don't
coverage.
know that Richard's suddenly become part of the Oz.
Yeah, what's that?
How on earth?
Frank's got sports and the full knowledge. And Garrett's...
Hold on, I think you'll find I have a whole cornucopia of general knowledge. Sports and the four.
Don't limit you to that. Gareth's train journey anecdotes are bound to come in handy at some point. I'm a bit of a pub.
Hold on a
Is
minute.
that the full extent of Gareth's general knowledge? Yes, call the crowd. Leave it.
Please
is
give
that?
a 4-minute anecdote
Don't
about
shout.
a train.
Don't shout. Don't shout.
I'm a bit of a pub quiz enthusiast, so can pick up the general knowledge. Oh, so he's got to do all the general knowledge.
Yeah, he'll be there.
That will just leave us one member short of the perfect team to crush CJ and the gang. Who's CJ and the gang? It sounds like the Goonies.
That's the egghead thing. I like that as a you know when people say he's one thingy short of a so-and-so. What are those sayings?
Oh, yeah.
What are they?
One,
Oh, he's
One
one.
picnic, one sandwich short of a picnic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could say he's one member short of an eggheads team. I like it.
But that's still quite
It will
clever.
also give Frank an opportunity to meet his shouldn't but would. If you're up for it, please get in
Judith.
touch. Richard T.
Yes,
Yeah, we'll be in touch, Richard, maybe.
I would be afraid to meet Judith Dimon for that very shouldn't. I find there's always a danger when you meet your would but shouldn't that you might.
Well, that's the thing.
And it reminds me.
I had that with Vince Cable.
Did you? How did it go?
Okay.
Okay. I once tried to steal a kiss from Martina Navratilova in similar circumstances. I hadn't even noticed she was smoking a pipe. I mean, it was an awkward situation, to say the least. But yeah, CJ, he's a member. He's I don't know what his orientation is. I'd say he's about 70 degrees longitude, but he's very camp anyway. Deliberately
he?
camp him, and he camps it up. And he does that fabulous eye-rolling thing. You know when camp people can look up into their own brain? Their eyes
Yes.
go right up and it's just two white
Like Simon
globes.
Cowell.
Does he do that?
Yeah.
What are you saying?
I'm just saying he does
Okay.
that.
Tom Cruise does it as well, I
Yeah,
think. But
yeah.
he has to look up quite a lot, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah. He could be rolling his eyes or just standing next to somebody.
Yeah, I think he's just acknowledging that he's listening to them. He's actually watching them through his own skull. Not easy. But he's
So this is
he's one of the
CJ.
gang. No one ever says sorry, CJ, which of course is from the old Reginald Perrin thing.
Oh.
But he's a chess expert. Wears floral shirts. He's the main man. Well, he's not the main man actually. He's one of the
Sounds
weaker
like he should be on
links.
QI. Yes. Where's floral shirts?
He should be, but it is a truly wonderful programme.
I'm going to start watching it now.
I think they did have a celebrity version. I wasn't
they?
asked.
Oh, Frank, you will be now.
Yeah, I think it was. I think Blue did it ensemble with Russell Grant. It was a strange combination.
Darren Brown, just back from the Arcadia Adults Only cruise. He showed up.
Well, he didn't need to show up. He just emailed his answers in advance. That's what I love about Darren. I'm calling him Darren. Some say Darren the Falls, but no, it's Darren.
So we started in the main show talking about my new child this week.
Let's not call it the main show. I feel
Yeah.
that's making this seem like some sort of
Also round.
some sort of addition.
Okay, we'll call it not the weekend podcast.
Right. Okay.
And there was some confusion about the scan because you have the scan and they measure all the parts of the baby. And I was,
Do they?
Yeah.
I mean, those of you new listeners, Gareth is the only married member of the team and the only one with children. He has one child, Ethan, and now a second is on the way.
Yes.
So how
And it's a boy. We found.
Oh,
out
you
it's a
spotted
boy.
that, did you?
Well, I wasn't there. I couldn't go because I was doing the Russell Howard show.
Oh, see.
Stop talking. That's the only
You
reason.
missed a scan of your own
'Cause it's a
child
Russell
for
Howard
TV.
show.
Well, that's how it begins.
I know. It's one of those terrible symbolic.
He's only even talking about the child, so he can bring up that he did the Russell Howard show.
I know. It's painful. I'm not a big. I'm not sure about the whole scanning process.
I'm not sure about it.
I mean, I know that medical people have to do, certain checks, and then that's all well and good. But doesn't it spoil the surprise a bit? See, you've already seen the baby loads by the time it comes out.
No, but you've seen a weird, eerie cross section of the baby where you've seen its like you can see its spine. And
Hold on, I'll be all right in a minute. Oh, it's coming down my nose. Oh, God. Okay, well,
and you can see its skull and its brain.
Yes,
and they look
well, the
right
thing
through,
is-
they look right through it. So when it comes out and you can't see its
Is that
spine,
normal that
it's
you
a
look right
relief.
through it?
yeah.
You look all the way through it.
Is it like an X-ray vision
Yeah,
thing?
well,
then?
yeah, because it sort of does like a cross section. It's like a sort of a sonar-y type thing.
Oh, I
isn't it?
didn't realise that.
They all look the same.
You see,
though.
I think that urge to know before it comes out, which is a relatively modern thing. You know, when I was born, my parents didn't have any idea what was going to come out. I think it's an urge it's come about just about the same time as glass panels on the front of oven doors.
Oh, yeah.
And I think people have got used to watching something cook, you know what I mean? Watching it and keeping an eye on it. And they want to do the same thing with their own children.
That's true.
That's my view. So I would say no. And I don't know about you, I had my shoulder scanned recently because I got a bit of a bad shoulder. Obviously, I didn't just have it scanned and see what it was like. It wasn't just, some general knowledge. I wasn't rehearsing for eggheads in case there was an anatomy section. And anyway, I had and it said it's inflamed. He said your shoulder. That's what the doctor told me. No, inflamed. I had a kind of a poetic image of what they were, sort of Dante-esque. I imagine there'd be flames licking the joint. When I saw the dull, grainy image on the scanner, it made it seem commonplace. Dull, even.
What a cheap injury, I'd go so far as to say.
Yeah, and I'd want to wait until the baby in glorious living colour, not these scratchy images.
No, but it's quite. There was some confusion though, because on the phone, so Laura reported the findings to me on the phone.
Whilst you were at the Russell
While I
Howard,
was at the
we just make that
Russell-
absolutely
Yeah,
clear
yeah,
in the green room.
Russell Howard show. And she said, they said one of its legs was shorter than the other, but it's all fine. And I was like, slow down a little bit there.
Well, she'd handle that. We can always walk, 1 foot on the pavement.
I mean, we'll be delighted.
Or get a built-up shoe. George Michael wears them.
Does he?
Well, I don't know, but he does. They look suspiciously high to me, if you don't mind me saying.
Both of them?
Yeah.
Well, that's not a built-up shoe, is it? That's someone trying to look taller. No, it's not a bad thing, but is that?
But what it turns out is that both his legs, they were the same size, but both his legs were a little bit shorter than but they grow at different rates. With Ethan, a couple of things
Is
came.
that right?
Yeah, like I think.
So one leg will grow maybe all the way, and then the other one comes out.
Well, kind of. Oh no, not the legs, but like compared to the skull, in proportion to like the skull.
I thought I was imagining a fabulous race between the legs. See which one makes full extension first. That's great. Oh, okay. So
yeah, so I think it like they've said it's fine, but he's in the 5th percentile, so he's a little bit smaller than he. But I think
you've enlisted him already? Was he in the 5th percentile with Tom Cruise? I think I've seen that film. Oh no, it wasn't. It was Bruce Willis, wasn't it? And Mila Jovovich. I think that was the 5th percentile.
Element. No, he's but that just means he's a little bit on the small side. But Laura's mum thought 5th percentile. She thought she put a brave face on it, but she went away from the phone call thinking he was 5% of the size he should be.
Oh, dear.
Like
5%.
1/20th.
That would be really small.
Yeah, I know what 5% means. Don't do maths on me.
That's getting into He Ping Ping territory.
Well, it's like a borrower.
The late He Ping Ping.
When I got scanned recently, I had accompanying music, as I mentioned on the previous show. So, did you not? Do you get any music when you watch a baby scan?
No music.
I'd have thought the Okie Kokie might have been out as the legs come out in exact time with the music. I would like to see the whole evolutionary process on there. That's what you should see, become a chimpanzee at some point and then move on. It started out as a small legless fish. Maybe there could be a point in the chimpanzee life on the scanner when he's taken the intestine and formed them into what looks very much like a tyre suspended from a rope for him to swing on. That's what I want to see on a scanner, my friend. Not what sex it is. Who cares? Nowadays, let's face it, it's a toss of a coin.
So, Frank, I know I'm not really allowed to talk about the Sonys anymore.
Well, go on, I'll give you one last go.
Okay, one last one, because I love it. It's the best thing that's ever happened to me, maybe, in the
Those of you who don't know, we won Best Entertainment Show.
Yeah,
you
we
know
did,
what I mean?
we did.
Yes.
Let's not go on about it.
No, we won't go on about that, but
No.
what I will go on about is the fact that I've received a lot of compliments and congratulations over the last, week or so since we won.
How vain and egotistic. What did they say about me? Did they mention me?
They did, actually.
Okay.
But I've really enjoyed that. It's
Now,
nice.
of course, I'm going to think they said bad things about me.
Yes, that's what I inferred.
Go on.
They didn't say bad things about you.
Okay.
I've just said it was compliments and congratulations.
Okay, lovely.
It
Well,
was,
that's
all,
nice.
it was all nice things. But I've got rather used to this. I mean, I'm expecting this now. I get very disappointed if I get an email or and someone doesn't mention it. I think it's quite miserly of them.
Yes.
I think they're jealous.
Mean-spirited.
Yeah, and I think they're quite jealous of me.
Yeah, they hate you now. I say now. They hate you now in brackets.
Would you like it to be made part of your title? So, like Emily Sonia award-winning Dean.
Yeah.
Well, you could have letters at the end. Like, if people get a
AW.
degree and it's there forever, why not do it with an award?
I think we should. I'm going
Thought
to.
about that.
But it has made me think, getting all these compliments, I thought, oh, I have quite a curious way of receiving compliments. It's actually
I've
been
heard
pointed
that.
out.
Really?
Oh, you're good. You're very good.
Frank, it's been pointed out to me by others.
Mm.
And particularly, last week, I had my hair blow dried.
Looks lovely.
It looked fabulous. I've had it washed since then. It looked fabulous, though, when I
Does
had it
that
done.
affect if once you wash a blow dry, that's blow dry gone?
Oh, I love it when you ask about beauty. Yes, that's blow dry gone.
Well, I bought some ibuprofen yesterday in Superdrug, and I saw there was a thing that said there was a little note saying ask if they've got a beauty card,
Oh.
and she didn't ask me. I took exception.
The man with the £7 haircut, like a James Bond villain. I love that. The man
£9.
with
It's
the
gone up to £9.
haircut.
The £7 haircut is
Oh,
behind
it's
me.
£9, £1 tip.
Most of it's behind me. I had a mullet. Yeah.
Very good.
He's got a terrible haircut, but it was quite cheap. Anyway, so people compliment you.
A lady complimented me. She's actually
Oh,
a
a
colleague.
lady.
A lady.
Mm.
I say that because she's pretty and I'm a bit jealous of her. But a lady said to me, "Oh, your hair looks lovely." Well, because I had nothing to do with it, quite honestly. Parts of it weren't even mine, but that's another story. I said, "Oh, yeah, I know it looks great, doesn't it?"
Yeah.
Well, she looked slightly astounded, askance. She said, "Oh, I've never really heard anyone say that. I'm not sure you can say that." I said, "Well, I just have."
I like that you said. It's like you were able to stand back from
Yeah.
your own hair
Exactly.
and admire it.
I am often able to do that.
Well,
Me
you
and
are.
Cheryl Cole often do that these days. But she...
She said you're not allowed to do it. Did she get out like a rule book?
Well, no, she didn't get aggressive, but she did... I think she was pointing out that the acceptable thing to do is to say, "Oh, don't be silly." Oh, not don't be silly, but to say,
Or thank you?
yeah.
In fact, though, you were being honest, weren't
Yeah.
you? Because a lot of women, they deny the whole blow dry and they take full credit.
Yes.
But you were admiring the craftsman.
Women always
behind
deny
it.
the blow dry. I won't.
Oh, God, I wonder where that was going. Oh, let me just get my breath back.
You're a bit like Darren Brown because usually...
Oh, God.
How dare you?
What, once you take off the hairpieces, you mean?
No, what I mean is that a normal magician...
Doesn't go on adult
Does it-
entertainment cruises.
No, and he doesn't have a blow dry because the fares won't fit.
No, what I'm saying is that
A normal magician.
You know that, a normal magician.
a normal magician hides the workings and doesn't tell you that it's a trick and just says, "No, it is
Yeah.
magic."
Exactly, like the
Whereas
great Soprenda.
you're like Darren Brown, you do incredible things, but you're aware that it's just tricks.
Do incredible things. You go to a hairstylist. No, it's good. I think it's good that you're up front now. Well, I was at the comedy club
Yeah.
this weekend, just gone, and I saw a very funny trio.
Oh.
And I won't name them because I'm about to relate a conversation. And I went up to one of the guys. I have to say, I thought you were, brilliant. And we talked about it. I said, honestly, I think you're going to be massive. And, I was really, really impressed, etc., etc. And he said, "Oh, thanks very much." And I think he felt he had to say something nice to me. And he said, well, well done to you for sticking at it all these years. Giving my career a sort of Robert the Bruce element. If at first you don't... Oh, dear. And I mean, he was trying to... I'm sure he was trying to be
He's
nice.
very tenacious, that Frank Skinner.
Thanks for just still being here now. Are you still here? Is that...
Did he tell you you'd lived 1,000 lives?
No, he didn't. But I It reminded me back in 2008 when I said to my manager, I said, well, if I'm the only way I'm ever going to win another award is to switch to radio. And
And it
it worked
really well, yeah.
Yeah, if the Sonys hadn't worked out, I was going to have to try for Pride of Britain. That was my only hope. Thank God it didn't come to that. It's difficult now. You must get a lot of compliments, Gareth.
Yeah, I do. No, I do, but I do know what Emily means because, so for instance, if I've had a good gig, sometimes someone will say, "Oh, that was really good," and I go, "Yeah,
You got a good memory.
Oh,
We've got to take him down a peg. He's
I know.
got.
It's unbearable.
Yeah.
Inflated ego.
No, I've had a lot of compliments.
So how do you deal with it?
So that was a good one. I go, yeah, that was a good one. When I think you're supposed to say thank you, but or try and think up something to say about them. But no, it's like, because I'm aware that it doesn't always go well, and it depends on the audience and the positioning of the stars. I'm grateful. I'm also impressed at how well it went.
Well, I remember standing with David Baddiel after a live edition of Fantasy Football, and two guys came up to us, and this guy said that was brilliant. That was brilliant. I didn't like the first half so much, but the second half was brilliant. And see, when he first said it was brilliant, my smile began, and then when he didn't like the first half, I felt it convert into a snarl. And I said to him, "Why do you think I care about your opinion?"
Oh,
And I
I'm
remember-
so glad I wasn't.
I
That
remember
sounds awful.
David-
This sounds awful.
David looked very anxious, and he said, "What do you mean?" I said, "Why do I care about what?" Now, of course, I did care when he said it was brilliant, but not like in the first half. I decided he was some sort of fool. So, if you're going to give a compliment, give it all the way. I don't want any footnotes.
No caveats.
No.
Definitely.
Was that a caveat?
Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio. Absolute Radio.